Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to learn about what are the five main basic steps in natural language processing. So before we start, we should know what is natural language processing. So natural language processing is a branch of artificial intelligence that allows computer to understand, interpret, and respond to human language. So whatever we are giving input as an user, okay, so that will be in a natural language because we know that the machine only understands the machine language. So that natural language, understanding the natural language and converting it into the machine language, that involves a natural language processing. Okay. So whenever you are going to provide any text kind of input in natural language processing, it goes through the five major steps. Okay. The first one is a lexical, second is a syntactic, third is a semantic, fourth is a discourse integration, and fifth one is a pragmatic analysis. Okay, so lexical analysis. So sometimes you might see lexical analysis as referred as a morphological analysis also. Okay, so both are somehow conceptually similar. Okay, so what is lexical analysis in particular phase? What you do, whatever your paragraph, whatever the sentence you have, you break down into the token. So that's why it is also called as a morphological analysis. When you're calling it as a lexical analysis, you're calling those token as a lexeme. And when you're talking about a morphological analysis, you're calling those token as a morphemes. Okay. So you can see tokens are the smallest unit of any text. So for example, there is an example, he goes to college. So including even a stop word. Okay, that is the full stop. It has total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tokens. Okay. So this is how if you give input paragraph, it will be divided into sentence and then sentences will be divided into the tokens. Okay. So in NLP, this particular tokenization is important before the PS tagging. Okay. But sometimes what happens, you might get independent words like cow, house, dog. Okay. But there will be some words like combination of two words like unimaginable. So unimaginable. You have a three different morpheme, okay, that are combining that particular word. So sometimes lexical analysis also needs to have a morphological analysis. Okay, so whenever you're performing lexical analysis, what happens? For example, there is a one statement given the understandable vocabulary that makes up the language. Okay, so in this case, vocabulary and language, okay, there has to be some peer tagging must happen to understand the semantic. Okay, so before jumping to the grammar checking or before checking to the tokens as a noun pronoun, you must know which are the actual token. Okay, so in lexical analysis, you do reading of words, subwords, characters. Okay, then you check the structure of words, identify the vocabulary, remove the unnecessary symbols like stop words, okay, punctuation marks, okay, and then you tokenize them finally. Okay, so these are just example. Run, runs, ran, running. They are they are having the same root word. That is a run. Same goes for a find, finds, found, finding. Lexeme is a find word. Okay, so this is just one example. I love coding. So as a tokenization, punctuation marks also considered as a token. Okay, then you do that POS tagging. Okay, but in case of POS tagging, after POS tagging, you must do that you can say lemmatization that we will learn later. Lemmatization and stemming is a making that word converted into the root word. Okay, that is an optional part. Next is the syntactic analysis. Syntax analysis is the second phase. So obviously we have done the tokenization. So in this particular step, what you do? In this step, you check the grammar of the sentence. The grammar, not a literally English grammar. So for example, if you have given some input, if there is some syntactic structure, it's given. So for example, you do some coding in a Java, C, CPP, you have some syntax, big syntax. For a printf statement, you have a syntax. Okay. For a declaration of variable, you have a syntax. So what happens in a compilation? It do the parsing part. If that particular parsing doesn't work, you get a compilation error in any programming language. Same way in natural language, if you have any issue in a grammar, there is no correct syntax of the word. Okay, the structure is incorrect. In that case, you will get an error. So syntactic analysis, what it does, it checks your grammar. So the word arrangement is studied. Okay, the relationship between them is studied. Okay. So for example, Delhi goes to him. Although it has all vocabulary words in English, it doesn't make sense because it's syntactically incorrect. So in case of English language, what the sequence we have? S plus V plus O, subject plus verb plus object. So any statement consisting of subject, verb plus object will be considered as a grammatically correct. Okay. So the sentence they wrote the paper. Okay, because it's grammatically correct. Okay. So for example, Dave do jumps. In this case, does jump. It should be there. Do is a wrong as per the English grammar, so it will give a syntactically incorrect. So depending on which language you are talking about, if it is English, it's S plus V plus O. If you have a different language, it has a different grammar. So you will be checking a grammar in a syntactic analysis. Okay, and after that you will be probably doing the POS tagging. Okay, because that whether it is a noun, whether it is a verb, the altogether meaning will change. So as I told you, in synthetic analysis, you check a grammar, you do the POS tagging. So once I got the tags, I know that this particular token is a noun, this particular token is a verb. Now I can extract the meaning of it. So that was the semantic analysis. So after doing tokenization, understanding the grammar, checking the grammar, okay, doing that POS tagging part. So POS tagging is a part of second phase, that is the synthetic analysis. So in third phase, you just extract the meaning out of that particular sentence. For example, I ate hot ice cream. Okay, so this will be rejected by the semantic analyzer. Why? Because it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so colorless green idea, even though it is grammatically correct, but it is rejected. Why? Semantically it's wrong. So semantics. So what we you can say in a short, semantics focuses on the meaning of the words and sentences. So even if the sentence is grammatically correct, the system will need to understand the meaning, what actually the meaning of that particular statement is. And semantic analysis deals with the word meaning, context meaning, okay, the synonyms part, okay, the relationship between words. So actually, what the statement actually what trying to say that you learn in a semantic analysis. Okay. But sometimes what happens, semantic analysis is not enough. In which case, for example, if you get one story, okay, so you got one statement, okay, and you got another statement. In second statement, you got a statement like that he wanted that. Okay, it went to the hill. So it in this case, he, she, it, that, there. So these are terms which are ambiguous because if you don't know who we are talking about. Who means he means who, she means who. So for that reason, you have to go back to the previous statement to understand what is the exactly context of that particular statement. That we call as a discourse integration. So in discourse integration, what you do, you understand the how the meaning of sentence changes when it's connected to previous sentence. Language always has some kind of context, and discourse integration helps to maintain that context. So pronouns like he, it will be referring to the some previous words. So you just have to check what are those previous words. Okay, so that's just say example, Manhattan speaks to all its people. And if you say there is a next statement, it calls out to Dave. So here, who is it? Then I have to check the previous statement to understand this particular thing. Next is the last phase is a pragmatic analysis. So I did tokenization, I understood the grammar, I took the meaning by semantic analysis. Okay, if there is a problem, I check for the previous statement and took the context of the particular statement. Okay, now the pragmatic analysis. So what is the pragmatic analysis? So now you done all the part. Now you're trying to find out the true meaning, true intention of that particular statement. So pragmatic analysis, somehow you can say, uh, also somehow a sentiment analysis because you're trying to find out the intention. Okay. So here in pragmatic analysis, it interprets the true intention behind the sentence. Sometimes the real meaning is different from the literal meaning. So there are some statements which has a literal meaning will be different, but actually what you want to interpret will be different. So there will be some sarcastic statement. Okay, so there will be some sarcastic statement why you are late. So that is a negative. But if you why you are so early? Okay, so somebody wants to say you are late. They will be saying why you are so early. So that is a sarcastic tone. So if you go by literal meaning, semantic analysis, you will get the incorrect meaning. So pragmatic goes beyond those semantic analysis. Okay, so it will check for a meaning, tone, okay, in any background idea about a particular thing. So it gives computer to ability to understand what the user actually wants. And that is the very hardest part in any prompt engineering. So whatever you do in any AI tool or any AI chatbot, you do the prompt engineering. Whatever prompts you are providing, the machine has to understand. Okay. So understand that prompt, you must go beyond the semantic because what exactly user want, that should be understood by the that particular chat GPT tool or any AI tool. Okay. So for example, close the window. It could be a request or it could be a order. So that's the task of NLP. So these are the 5 stages of NLP. Okay. So this is all for today. Thank you.